Back on the record in the presence of the jury, Mr. Bahena is present along with the attorneys of record. Mr. Jack, I want to remind you you're still under oath. Mr. Freeze, you may continue.
Thank you. Mr. Jack, the other day you made an answer to a question posed by Mr. Brown, and your answer was you wholeheartedly think that my client's guilty, right?
Judge, I'm going to object, actually. That's not in the purview of this witness, not relevant.
Well, the answer's already been given, so I think
that's fine.
I think the objection is untimely, given that we already have the answer in the record. So we can proceed.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know Iris Gamboa?
I graduated with her, yes.
How well do you know Iris?
Not very well.
She testified here today that she said you're a racist. You share that opinion?
No.
You don't hold any anti-Mexican opinions?
No.
Have you ever used derogatory language toward Hispanics?
Not that I can remember, no.
Have you ever used the term fucking dipshit Mexicans?
Judge, I'm going to object to the relevance. He's denied any comments.
Sustained.
If I showed you a document, your phone records from October 26, 2017, would that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Judge, I'm going to object on the same grounds if that's what the content of this is.
Mr. Freeze, not knowing what you're wanting to refresh him on, I would just ask you to keep in mind the court's previous ruling, and if you're going down that road, it's going to be the same ruling.
I guess, of course, I'm somewhat vague on the court's statement there.
Okay. Do you need the previous question and ruling read back to you?
Can we approach?
Sure. Go ahead, Mr. Freeze.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Jack, you recall on July 6, 2018, 12 days prior to Mollie's disappearance, having a conversation with her via text message indicating to her that you were madder than fuck for no reason?
I do not recall that conversation.
If I showed you a text message report of that, would it refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Judge, I'm going to object on the basis of relevance.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Stop the bottom. Does that refresh your recollection?
I still don't remember the conversation, no.
Okay. You're a smart guy, right?
I'm not going to stroke my own ego here, but sure.
You, in some of the interviews, said to agents that you had your college paid for because your ACT scores were so high, right?
Yes.
How high were they?
Judge, I'm going to object to recallments.
Sustained.
Is there anything wrong with your memory, organically?
No.
You don't have any illness?
I've had multiple concussions.
Okay, is that affecting your memory, do you think?
I don't know. No.
Okay. Has any doctor diagnosed you with any reason that you can't recall things?
No.
Okay. Do you recall the Snapchat message conversation with Jordan Lamb where you told her you wanted to get with her?
No, I do not.
You don't recall saying to Jordan Lamb that if you do get together with her that you had to be quiet because you weren't going to jail because she was under 18?
I'm going to object. There's no time frame that's put on this that's not relevant at this point.
I will sustain that, Mr. Freeze, and again, we need some more context to go forward.
In March of or April of 2018, you don't recall having a Snapchat conversation with Jordan Lamb wherein you said,
I'm going to object to him reading it into the record. It's hearsay. If he wants to refresh his memory or ask me if he had a conversation with her, that's fine, but reading it into the record in front of the jury is improper.
first of all, Your Honor, I'm not reading anything into a jury. I'm asking a question.
With that, then, I mean, Mr. Brown's point is well taken, but I did not think or see that you were reading, so with that, you may proceed.
Do you recall a text message conversation where you sent, actually a Snapchat conversation, where you sent a message to the effect of you weren't going to jail if you and Jordan got back together because she was under 18 and her parents hated you?
I still do not recall that, no.
Okay. You would agree with me that those records exist, they speak for themselves?
Yes.
Okay. And if the record exists, that would be a more accurate recitation than your memory?
Yes.
Do you ever tell anybody you black out when you get angry?
Objections is asked and answered prior to the break.
Overruled.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Have you ever told anyone at any time on this planet that you black out when you get angry?
I don't recall.
Okay. If there's a record that says that, would you agree with me that that record is more accurate than your recollection?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Always correct.
You may have answered this before, and if you do, I do apologize. Ulysses Felix, you knew him, right?
Yes.
Agents, when they were questioning you, asked you about a $200 cash withdrawal Mollie took out the night before she disappeared. Do you recall that?
Don't recall this.
It's irrelevant.
Overruled.
Do you recall that?
I do not recall that.
Do you recall Mollie purchasing a mattress within a couple days before she disappeared?
Object to relevance.
Overruled.
No, I don't.
You don't recall giving Mollie the information for the mattress guy in Grinnell a couple days before she disappeared?
No, I don't.
You don't recall Shane Slaymaker giving you the information for the mattress guy so Mollie could buy a mattress?
No, I do not.
And again, if there's records on that, those would be more accurate than your recollection.
Absolutely, yes.
Do you recall telling agents that you thought the $200 was for your golf tournament that Mollie would have put up the greens fees for?
I also do not recall that, no.
But you recall you were in Dubuque on that night, right?
Yes.
Clear as a bell.
Yes.
But were you drunk?
I don't recall that either, but I would imagine that I was drinking, yes, sir.
Okay. That's all I have.
Mr. Brown, questions of this witness?
I do. Let's talk about your job that Mr. Freeze just raised, okay?
Okay.
Where were you working?
Dubuque.
Okay, what company were you working for?
I was working for Jasper Construction.
And what job did you do for Jasper Construction?
We worked on roads and bridges, but I was a laborer.
Okay, full-time job?
Yes.
And did you work long days?
Yes.
Sometimes 12-hour days, correct?
Yes.
A lot of those jobs for Jasper Construction were away from Brooklyn, is that right?
Yes.
All right, this particular week that you were working for Jasper Construction, the week that would include Wednesday, July 18th of 2018, where was the job specifically?
In Dubuque.
Okay, and even more specifically than Dubuque, where at near Dubuque were you working?
I don't remember the name of the highway, but it was the bridge that goes over the Mississippi River to Wisconsin.
Okay, you left for that job on Monday, July 16th, is that right?
Yes.
And you would have driven there in your pickup truck?
Yes.
Is that the only vehicle that you utilized at that time?
Yes.
All right. Was it a truck that you were making payments on?
Yes, it was.
And that's why you were working, is to pay your bills, right, Mr. Jack?
Yes.
You tried college for a year and decided that wasn't for you,
Correct, yes.
right? And so now you were working full-time for Jasper Construction as a road construction crew member.
Yes.
Nick Wilson was your supervisor?
Yes.
Is that somebody that you got along with?
Yeah, me and Nick got along great.
Okay. The crew that was working in Dubuque on the week that would include Wednesday, July 18th of 2018, there were 5 members of that crew plus Nick. Would that be true?
Yes.
And there was a second crew that had been assigned to work this same bridge area with you and your crew that week. Is that right?
Yes.
Would Nick Wilson have been the job foreman or crew foreman for that crew as well, or do you know?
No, that one was under a different supervisor.
Okay. So 2 different supervisors were with you in Dubuque, both that work for Jasper Construction.
Yes.
Is that right? As well as 2 separate crews that had been assigned to work in Dubuque for that particular week that included July 18th of 2018.
Yes.
Whenever you typically went on jobs like this, would you stay overnight in a motel?
Yes, we would.
And was this particular trip to Dubuque on July 18th of 2018, was it any different than any other trip?
No, it was not.
Did you see Mollie Tibbetts prior to leaving for the job on early Monday of July 16th of 2018?
Well, we slept in the same bed, so yeah, when I got up.
She was staying with you and Blake and Allie at 622 West Des Moines in Brooklyn.
Yes.
You had, just as a refresher, you had 2 dogs that were there?
Yes.
And was she house sitting as well as taking care of the dogs while both you and Blake were away working?
Yes.
Blake was a construction worker also, is that right?
Correct, yes.
He was working in Newton that week? Or do you even remember?
I don't remember where he was working, though.
All right. Allie, it was his fiance at the time, correct?
Yes.
Allie Houghton?
Houghton, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, mispronounced it, my bad. Allie Houghton?
Yes.
Okay. So whenever you left Brooklyn to go to your job working for Jasper on July 16th of 2018, you left Mollie.
Yes.
And that was the last time that you would have been in her presence prior to her death. Is that true?
Correct, yes.
Drove your pickup to Dubuque?
Yes.
How long did it take you to get from Brooklyn to the job site at the river?
Over 2 hours.
Okay. And was it closer to maybe 2.5 hours to the job site?
Suppose so, yes.
Okay. You didn't keep track of your time, is that right?
I didn't keep track of the time. The supervisor, Nick Wilson, kept track of the time.
Okay. That's a good point. Nick Wilson would keep your hours that you worked, is that correct?
Yes.
He would log them in, is that right?
Yes.
There was no way for you to do that on your own?
No.
And was there another man that went with you on July 16th, 2018, going to Dubuque to work on this job site?
Yes.
And who was that?
Luis, I don't remember his last name.
Okay. Was Luis someone that worked with you at Jasper,
Yes.
other than the job at Dubuque?
Yes.
And he needed a ride?
Yeah, he just needed to ride up.
Okay, you gave it to him, right?
Yeah.
At any time, Mr. Jack, prior to Thursday afternoon, did you leave and go back to Brooklyn, Iowa?
No.
Were you ever in the presence of Mollie Tibbetts after early Monday morning, July 16th of 2018?
No.
Directing your attention to when July 18 of 2018, I believe you previously testified that you had worked the whole day. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Would that be from 6 a.m. to about 6 p.m.?
Around about, yes.
Okay. And other people on the job site, including Nick Wilson, you would have been around them that entire day. Is that right?
Yes.
And you did have some communication with Mollie that you testified to earlier. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, after the day ended, after the work day ended, did you go back to the motel?
Yes.
Did you shower up or clean up in any way?
Yes.
I'm assuming that working on a bridge that goes over the Mississippi is probably a dirty job. Is that right?
Yes. I don't have details on when I showered or what I did, but yeah, I showered.
I'm not asking details. I'm just asking if it happened.
Oh, okay. Yes.
All right, so whenever you got back to the motel that night, regardless of what you did, you were around other people on your crew. Is that right?
Yes.
At the hotel?
Yes.
And would that have included Nick Wilson, at least for part of the evening?
Yes.
On the evening of July 18th of 2018, did you drive back to Brooklyn, Iowa?
Was July 18th the Wednesday?
Wednesday, correct?
Oh, sorry. No, I did not.
All right, that was the day you worked a full day, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. The next day, Thursday, July 19th of 2018, you had weather problems, is that correct?
Yes.
So when you're on a road crew, weather problems stop the job, is that right?
Yes.
It becomes too dangerous to work?
It just, becomes a big hassle to do anything.
Just a big mess, is that
Yeah.
right? So you go back to the hotel that you were staying at, is that correct?
Yes.
And you made some attempts to reach Mollie Tibbetts on July 19th of 2018, is that right?
Yes.
And were those successful?
No.
You've talked about one text message, I think, or maybe phone call, I can't remember. There was one of those, is that correct?
Yes.
And did you make any attempts to reach her in any other way by calling her friends or calling other people that knew her?
Yes, I did.
All right, so like somebody like Emily Finner, do you know that person?
Yes.
That's a friend of Mollie's, is that right?
Yes.
Did you talk to Emily Finner?
Yes.
You were trying to find Mollie, is that right?
Yes.
Did you start to become worried?
Yes, I did.
And then did that cause you to want to come home?
Yes.
And did you express that worry to Nick Wilson or anyone else on the crew that you were working on?
Yes, I did.
So was it to Nick?
Yes.
Because that's the guy who's going to let you come home, right? Nick is going to be the one to let you leave early?
Yeah, Nick was the boss.
Okay, so you were supposed to work on Friday,
Yes.
right? And then you came home because you couldn't get a hold of Mollie?
Correct, yeah.
And you got home sometime that night, is that right?
Yes.
All right. Let's shift gears just a little bit. You've discussed a lot with Mr. Freeze about this relationship that you had with Jordan.
Yes.
Mollie was aware of the relationship, is that correct?
Yes, she was.
And despite knowing about it, your relationship with her continued.
Yes.
And you were still making plans to propose marriage to her in August of 2018 in the Dominican Republic at your brother's
Yes, I
wedding.
was.
That wedding never happened, did it?
No, it did not.
All right, because Mollie had disappeared, is that right?
Yes.
So it got canceled.
Yes, Blake and Allie canceled their wedding.
Mr. Jack, the truck that you drove, you allowed police to search, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
You took it to the Brooklyn Fire Department, is that right?
Yes.
And you just handed it over to them?
Yes.
Did you stay there while they searched it?
No, I did not.
You left it there for a period of time?
Yes.
All right. Did you make any effort to try to do anything to the truck to alter it in any way?
No, I did not.
Did you ever try to prevent the officers from searching in any particular locations in the truck?
No, I did not.
Mollie had actually ridden in that truck before, is that right?
Many times, yes.
She'd ridden in the cab of that truck with you?
Yes.
But you made no effort to conceal anything from the officers, is that right?
No, I did not.
You were cooperative?
Yes.
Mr. Jack, just a few more questions. Do you own a black Malibu?
No, I do not.
Do you have access to a black Malibu?
No, I do not.
How about a black Malibu with a chromed mirror and chromed handles?
No, I do not.
How about a black Malibu with chrome mirror, chromed handles, and spoked wheels?
Objection asked and answered.
Technically, that question has not been asked and answered, so the witness can go ahead and answer.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Do you own or have access to a black Malibu that has chrome mirrors, chromed handles, or spoked wheels?
No, I do not.
Was your vehicle seen in the area where Mollie Tibbetts was running on July 18th of 2018, to your knowledge?
Objection calls for speculation.
To his knowledge, Judge.
Overruled then.
No.
Have you ever admitted that you were in Brooklyn, Iowa on July 18th of 2018, near where Mollie Tibbetts was observed running?
No, I have not.
Have you ever made any statements, Mr. Jack, placing you on 385th Avenue east of Brooklyn on July 18th of 2018 in the evening hours?
No, I have not.
You are now aware that Mollie Tibbetts was killed, is that right?
Yes.
You are now aware that her body was found in a cornfield at 2478 460th Avenue, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you take officers to that location to find Mollie Tibbetts?
No, I did not.
Did you place corn stalks on her body in order to conceal her from anyone that may be looking?
No, I did not.
Mr. Jack, did you have anything at all to do with the disappearance or murder of Mollie Tibbetts?
No.
That's all I have.
Mr. Freeze?
Mollie didn't know that you and Jordan had sex, did she?
Objections calls for speculation.
Overruled, witness may answer if he knows.
Yes, she definitely did.
Do you recall telling agents when you were interviewed that Mollie didn't know that you and Jordan had sex?
No.
Do you recall telling agents that if Mollie would have found out that you and Jordan had sex, she definitely would have broken up with you?
No.
If there's a recording to that effect, that would be the best evidence of that comment?
Yes.
Nick Wilson's your supervisor, right?
Correct, yes.
Nick Wilson stays in the hotels with you, right?
Correct, yes.
And he's the one that you had to get permission from on Thursday to come back to Brooklyn, right?
Correct, yes.
Is he the same supervisor who was drunk and you had to take to the convenience store to buy cigarettes?
Objections calls for as not relevant.
Sustained.
You testified the other day you had to take someone to the convenience store to get cigarettes before you left for Brooklyn, right?
I don't think I ever testified that.
Okay. Did you ever tell that to Matt George?
I'm sorry, who?
Did you ever tell that same information to Matt George?
Not that I can recall, no.
Was Nick Wilson drunk on that Thursday?
Not that I can recall.
Does he drink with you guys in the evening?
Yes.
Does he drink to the point of intoxication?
I mean, we all did.
And you would agree with me that the statements you gave to officers regarding your activities and whereabouts on that July 18 and July 19 were pretty sketchy?
Objects is argumentative.
Overruled, but since the court doesn't understand the question, I'm going to ask that you rephrase it. How's
Very
that?
well. The details were few and far between as far as the specificity of your activities on the evenings of July 18 and July 17 to investigating agents, right?
I thought they were pretty clear.
You couldn't recall what night you got drunk and what night you stayed in the room, could you?
I don't recall even saying that.
Okay. And you're certain you worked on Monday the 16th?
Yes.
Positive.
Yes.
Your work records will show that.
Yes.
If your phone records indicate that you were home on the 16th, do you have any explanation for that?
No.
You sent Mollie a text message at 8:18 on July 18, 2018 that said, "My phone data straight up won't work." Do you recall that?
Yes.
And she didn't respond, did she?
No, she did not.
And that is something you recalled since the last time we were here in court?
I'm sorry.
That's something you recalled since the last time you testified?
I don't understand the question, I guess.
Did I ask you that question the other day, Mr. Jack?
Yes.
And you didn't recall it then?
I don't know if I recalled it then.
So is Mr. Wilson going to come in here and tell us that you were in Dubuque? Is that the deal?
Objections calls for speculation on behalf of this witness.
Sustained.
That's all I have.
Mr. Brown, anything else to this witness?
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Jack. You're excused.
Just stand out in the hallway. Can we approach real quick?
Yes. Members of the jury, that completes our work for the day. We will be in recess until tomorrow morning at 8:30. Please leave your notebooks where they are. They'll be held and collected by Carrie overnight. Before I send you on your way, I want to remind you of your admonition. Please make sure you're not discussing the case with anyone. Make sure that you are not doing any type of independent research and that you're not having any type of media exposure to the case. Have a good evening. We'll see you back here ready to go at 8:30.